What's up, everybody? Happy Sunday. Welcome to a brand new episode of Open Letters to a Survivor. I am your moderator, James. We got the queens here. We got the queen bee is back. We got Lady Poet back in the building. What's up, Lady Poet?
Hey everybody, I'm glad to be back.
Okay. We got Cassandra, Miss Cassandra Williams down here at the bottom. We also have the Queen K Love up here at the top. How are you ladies doing?
Good. Good
Well,
evening.
What you say, K Love?
I said I'm well, thank you.
That is amazing. Very, very good to see you ladies today. Very good to see the audience today. We are glad that you all are here. As always, it is an amazing show today. The ladies are steadfast at making sure that they get the right people on here to represent the brand and to represent the cause. They are all about healing, and they are ready to get you some good old-fashioned healing today. So a lot going on with UG Digital Podcast and Radio. We have been circulating the schedule around, so we did have a podcast today. That was the bucket list. Very, very amazing show today. We had the legendary member of the Manhattans, Gerald Austin. He was on the show today, and I actually got to do that with my father. So that was really, really good. We had a very good conversation. You guys can go back and catch that. A lot more going on with the network, but we are going to push forward. Let these ladies go ahead and get started because they have an amazing guest on the show today. Who I actually myself am ready to see because I know that he's got some really good stuff going on that is really good for the cause. So I will kick it off to Lady Poet today because the Queen Bee is back and I'm so excited. I know everybody is really, really happy. Everybody has been asking us that she is here. She is smiling bright. She is snatched like never before. And that smile is big and gorgeous. So we are so happy to see you, Lady Poet. The floor is yours. I'm gonna go backstage, and then you let me know when you are ready for the guest of honor.
All right, thank you. So before we get started today, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to another episode of Open Letters to a Survivor. I am the creator and founder, and I have my two beautiful co-hosts with me. Before we get started today, I just want to thank them for the time that I was off. I feel like it's always good and important to give people their flowers. So I just thank you for keeping my dream alive while I was gone for 4 weeks. For me being in the background yelling sometimes, but y'all getting it together real quick. And just for keeping everything good and having my back through the whole process. So James, K Love, Tim, Cassandra, I thank you all and I love you. It's nothing like having people as passionate as you are about a dream. So I really want to thank you for that today. And everybody stay tuned because we have a great show with Coach tonight. But before we get started, I want to go to Cassandra. I'm sorry for our letter.
Awesome. And welcome back, Lady Poet Speaks, and thank you so much for those flowers. Much appreciated. Welcome tonight, everyone. As she stated, we have a fabulous show. So I'm going to go ahead, excuse me, and get us started with our Dear Survivor letter. Dear Survivor, transformation, metamorphosis, becoming, and not remaining. All of these words and phrases represent who you are and what you're experiencing as a survivor. Changing, growing, developing, all of these and more encompass what you're going through as you move to higher heights in who you are. Remember, you don't have to figure everything out alone. You're not by yourself. Whether you're going through changes in your personal life or navigating changes in your job or career, there are other people who are capable of supporting you on your life's journey. Have a therapist and get a mentor. Your mentor, your life coach, your leadership coach, however or whatever way you want to call it, these are people who are ready to assist you as you take time to reflect upon your life and pivot. Find people you can trust, can lean on, learn from, and who can ultimately support you on your journey towards your full potential. You're worth it. You have come this far and you can go higher. You don't have to do it alone. You got this. Take care and be well as you elevate along your journey. Sincerely, Lady Poet Speaks, K Love, the entire team of the Open Letters to a Survivor, to our from our guest as well, Coach Trell, and me, Cassandra Williams.
Thank you. I tell you, every week your letters are so inspiring. Before I introduce the guest, K Love, is there anything you want to add today?
Well, I first would like to say thank you and welcome back. We definitely adore and appreciate you. And even though we held it down, it's great to have our leader back.
And y'all did a good job holding it down. So I appreciate just everything from y'all splitting up the. I felt like I didn't have to do nothing. I'm like, do they even need me anymore? But I just appreciate like you guys so much, and Tim is included. So right now I want to introduce our guest from Limitless Leads LLC, life coach Trail. And I love this because not only do we do mentoring and mentoring month, but we also have a life coach today. And just like we need mentoring females, males need it too. And sometimes it's good, even as females, to hear from a male's perspective on different things that are going on in our life. So without further ado, I want to bring in today's guest, and that's Coach Trail. We welcome you to Open Letters to a Survivor.
Hey, thank you for the welcome. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Well, thank you. So, before we get started, I just wanted to say that I think what you do is so amazing. I'm going to let you introduce yourself and tell the people what you do. But we had to put you on to close the month for this month because of how great your organization and what you're doing is. So, to get us started, tell us a little bit about yourself and your program or organization that you have, your business.
A little bit about me. Born and raised Chicago, Illinois. Uh, Joined the military at about 21 years old. Did 20 years in the United States Air Force. Had a great time. Learned a lot of things. Met a lot of beautiful people. And retired in 2017. So I retired. I kind of had a void to fill. I was feeling like I wanted to continue to give back. Had a passion for leading, had a passion for developing people and helping them transform into the best version of themselves. And I didn't know how to go about doing it. So I kind of asked around, kept asking around, and finally I found out coaching was an actual thing. Life coaching was an actual thing. So I wanted to figure out how to use the best of my talents and give back to the community, the Black and Brown community, young men and women. And so I started looking into coaching. Then I figured, hey, I had the intangibles, 20 years of military leadership, as well as being born and raised in Chicago. That was a feat in itself, making out of it there. And then so I decided to start a business. Started a business, family owned, and then that way started to find that trajectory of giving back to the community.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to say before we go to another question, thank you so much for your service. And thank you for what you
Absolutely.
do in our community for our Black and Brown. That's what Open Letters is based upon, is getting help and letting people know it's okay to lean on other people in our communities. And it's okay to
Right.
have God and a therapist too. So I always say that. That's one of my mottos. You'll hear me say it almost every week because I want people to know in our communities, it's okay to have God, but it's okay to go sit on somebody's couch and let an unbiased person help you in your situations. So I do want to
Right.
say thank you so much for that. Thank you for your service and thank you for being a leader in our communities.
No, I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So, good evening, Coach Trail. My name is Cassandra. Welcome to the show. And so, again, as Lady Poet said, thank you for your service first and foremost. Um, and so my question to you is, given all that you stated about your background, what actually led you to start your mentoring or your leadership and life coach program?
Man, that's a great question. Like I said, being in the military for over 20 years, you had the opportunity to go through a lot of things. You had the opportunity to meet a lot of people. And in our community, we tend to kind of gravitate toward ourselves, and we try to look out for each other. And you think that's how we were taught and how we were raised. But being in the military, I learned how to follow, and then that was most important, right? Because in order to be a great leader, you have to be a great follower. So I learned how to follow, and not only follow, but I learned how to follow different people, whether it was Caucasian, African American, whatever the case may be, male, female, just learning how to follow. And then once I learned how to follow and honed my leadership skills, I took great pride in that. Growing up playing sports, just being that team environment, that team concept, that brotherhood of being in the military. And then the and I'll say selfishly, it's just making me feel good, helping somebody else. That started to make me feel better. Helping people develop, helping people learn, and I didn't know it at the time. I just was doing it. It just came natural. And then so as once you start to get the feedback, and once you start to see the transformation of how you're helping people, you start to you start to get that self gratification feeling. You start to say, "Oh wow, okay, I really can make a difference." And then if you affect that one person, and then that person goes out there and then they try to make a difference, you're slowly making a change one person at a time. And once I figured that out, it's just what I wanted to do. Got a passion for it, and started a business and haven't looked back since then.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Coach Trail. And again, also, thank you for your service. We really do appreciate you for the time that you put in and the sacrifices that you made for our country and for our
Absolutely,
people.
no problem.
So, um,
Absolutely.
what are the different support services that you actually offer through your program?
Some of the service I offer is disc assessments. I'll start with that one. That's kind of like applying the law of awareness. It's, to help you recognize your strengths and limitations. Some of the things that we don't necessarily know or do well in our community is probably communicate with each other. Learning how to be respectful of other folks, learning how they actually like to be treated and communicated with as well. Those are important things. So that's the first thing that I do. Secondly is building plans based on the type of person or type of how you would want to go about bettering yourself. Sit down with the individual and then come up with a plan. Nowadays, you hear a lot about accountability partners, holding each other accountable and
Mm.
stuff like that. So we think of a coach. You can think of somebody that can, hold you accountable. So I think that's the first thing that you should think about. And then other things is can build you a plan, 3 months, 6 months, a year, just depending on you, the individual, whether it's corporate as a team, whether it's a school dealing with youth development, a staff, a lot of staffs that teaching, they tend to need a shoulder to lean on as well because sometimes they get overlooked. So just different places like that and offering those different type of you know tools and resources.
So I actually love the communication part because I feel like everybody can take a class on communicating a little bit better. I know
Right,
I'm one of those people that either I have to get real quiet before I can explain what's going on, or it's all gonna come out like a flood. So there's no in between. So I think everybody just needs to take your communication class to learn how to effectively communicate
right.
in those ways. So I actually love that, and I feel like it is much needed in our community because, of course, we can't read minds, and we have some people that's like nothing's wrong with me, but I can tell by your face something that's wrong, and so instead of you being
Exactly.
passive aggressive, communicate. So I really, I really think that communication is one of the best classes that you do have. And also, I do like how you are able to give support to people who are there, like teachers and people that are leaders. So you give them help as well. So I don't know if you ladies want to chime in on that too, but I just wanted to say that when he said the communication class, I was like, oh, a light bulb. Everybody needs that class. So
No, yeah, because even with the disc, I do that with couples as well. Because like you mentioned therapy earlier, coaching and therapy is different, right?
yeah,
They're not the same things, two separate things. But the latest buzzword is therapy. But I think a lot of people, if they would do a little bit more research and be a little bit more open-minded, kind of figure out what the actual problem is. 9 times out of 10, the first thing will be communication, whether that be sending or receiving. We as people, we just don't communicate well. And then now with technology, things are being shortened. Well, we're shortening words, supplementing things with different, emojis and different things. So you're losing the whole communication factor as far as for how to express yourself, because so much is done through gifs and emojis and different things. So a lot of things get taken out of context, and I think we're kind of losing that piece of, how to receive each other. So definitely important to talk about communication.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah, I
agree.
want to piggyback off of that as well because communication also, as you talked about, it involves emotional intelligence, and a lot of people don't have that. They don't even know what that means. So when you
Right.
start talking about communications, it's almost like you have to go a little deeper and get people to understand their own inner feelings and thoughts so they can learn how to process those things so that they are capable of communicating. So
Absolutely.
I love
I
that part
agree.
too.
Yeah, you can couple that up with the thing people are doing now is being more in tune with their love languages, actually understanding what they themselves actually like. That's I think if people get more in tune with themselves and figure out what they actually like, then they can actually explain it to somebody else how to love, how to receive, how to communicate with them. Because if not, you're just kind of going off of what everybody else is
Well, I think between the love language and the DISC assessment, like that's a whole class unto itself. Just
doing.
combining those because I've done the DISC assessment before. It gets you right, um, and
Right,
having somebody to support you once you've kind of gone through that assessment really
right.
does, like you said, it adds to that level of communication, both receiving and giving. So it's just a lot that's there. You made mention, Coach, about your work or your wanting to support communities of color, like Black and Brown people. And so our pledge to this show for our survivors is inclusive of that, right? So I'm going to share the pledge. And my
Okay.
question to you following that share is how do you think this pledge is important for people in our communities of color? Okay.
Okay.
So here is our pledge. So today we pledge that we will not let survivors fight alone. That upon disclosing abuse, we will not only stand in the gap in prayer, but assist in resources. We will believe and guide them through the trauma and let them know they are not alone. Today, we stand up for every survivor whose voice shakes telling their story, for survivors who choose to heal loudly because they had to be quiet for so long. When families and the justice system fails them, we will still uplift them. Excuse me. Oh, guys. Well, I'm going to go to my thing. Sorry. We got
It's okay. We still uplift them, help them find their worth, and pledge today to continue our
thank
work and fight for survival.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Teamwork.
I appreciate it. Teamwork makes the dream work. So,
Yes, ma'am.
how is it that you feel that that pledge is important, not only for our viewership, but for all people in communities of color?
I think it's important again to start with the conversation piece, right? Because we don't know what's going on in people's lives, whether it's your kids, whether it's your siblings, whether it's any family member or any friend, you don't know, right? So the one thing is you have to give a care, right? One thing people tend to do is in the morning they'll say good morning, how are you doing? Now, do you really care how that person's doing? You know what I mean? A lot of times people just kind of go through the formalities. So if you do actually care about it, then I think it starts there, and the buy-in on that person or persons that you're talking to, for them to believe that you actually care. And once that starts to happen, it just depends on the dialogue and the kind of questions that you ask. Asking those questions, building that support system. I think so many times we go to school, we go to work, whether it's sports or activities, those are all your external support systems. But what is the internal support system? You know what I mean? Uh, because most of the stuff happens when you're alone. That's when you feel guilty, you feel down, you feel depressed. You know what I mean? Whatever the case may be. So they have to understand that the comfort is there for them to go and talk to whoever that support system if they don't have it built internally. So, um, teaching them to ask the questions. How are you supposed to feel? Some people don't know how they're supposed to feel. If they've been through abuse, they may think that that's common or they're always supposed to be treated that way. And I'll give you an example in the community is growing up, I was a victim and I was a problem also because cracking jokes on people, naming names. We tried to get real good at who was the best at that. But then as we got older, we thought we were really good at doing something, but in turn, you find out you were really good at hurting people, insulting people and not necessarily making them feel the best version of themselves. So now you have to reprogram yourself and say, okay, that wasn't necessarily healthy. Could have been a form of trauma, physical, verbal, whichever form of trauma that somebody may be dealing with. And look and see, hold yourself accountable because you may be contributing to that trauma versus providing a hand for them to, because you may be offering yourself to olive branch and they don't want help from you because you've probably been the one that's been creating some of the damage. So again, it just goes back to the communication piece, asking the right questions. And I think that pledge is powerful and I think it's applicable. But again, the alpha and omega, the beginning and the end, it starts with that conversation, if that makes sense.
Yes. Great. That is great.
Yes, very good. Very, very good.
Caleb.
And with that being said, I had to give him the snaps. That was awesome.
Okay, appreciate that.
So, with that being said, we know it takes a team, or as we also say, a village, to combat the problems and the pain and the issues that our youth and our community, people in our community, have on a day-to-day basis. So, do you partner with any other organizations to do what you do?
So currently I'm in San Antonio, Texas. It's I won't say it's exactly easy out here. Um, the, the demographic for us is not exactly that large. So when I go to some places, there is some resistance, but I have to go out to places like the Chamber of Commerce. Sometimes the Boys and Girls Clubs allow you to come out and partake, but they, yeah, it's almost like you just have to build a trust system first, and it's so hard if you're trying to build a business or if you're trying to do it just out of the kindness of your heart. Getting that buy-in from people because it's all nowadays is everything's social media, everything's online. So a lot of people, based on how many views you got, how many followers you got, that seems to be the currency and the stock in what people believe in versus actually sitting down and having a conversation with folks. But to answer your question, here in San Antonio, I've worked with middle schools, I worked with a couple of high schools. Haven't had the chance to have the biggest impact that I wanted because again, it's about building a brand and networking. Sometimes uh, it may be more or less the sender or the messenger, and depending on the demographic, you may need some help getting into those doors so that way you can get past those barriers that you're trying to educate people on. So those are some of the issues that I've had in this area. But networking, I've been able to work with a few NGOs out in Romania, out in Africa, doing a lot of work in Germany. So all via online and being able to reach out and connect. So the people I can't connect with and help here locally, I'm still able to have that presence and that effectiveness online. But definitely looking to collaborate, communicate with anybody that wants to try to better themselves or any in the community. So definitely looking out to do that.
And that's great that you have connections everywhere because what we do is we try to connect people wherever they are, whether they are in Ohio or Detroit or
Right.
Chicago or Florida, where I have a lot of connections to. what we try to give people resources, and sometimes we need the resources ourselves. So
Right.
just to be able to tap into those resources and get them out to people are like an amazing thing that I guess you offer, because some are just in certain states, but having a place where they can reach out regardless of if they're in Georgia versus not being there. So having that virtual aspect is great for our communities as well. So we want to make sure at the end of the show we do put your information down, and that way we will be able to get people connected if they do want that life coaching. Because I know I have people that I like. I need you to keep me accountable, because if you don't, I'm not gonna do it. So if I tell you that next Thursday I need to walk a mile, I need you to tell me next Thursday walk a mile. And I don't care if that involves yelling at me. I need you to tell me to do it, because I'm not gonna listen. So I think that that's a great thing that people will be able to tap into. So we'll at the end we'll make sure we put that information down. So I'm sorry, I'll turn the floor over to you, ladies. So I just wanted to get. So.
Well, no, that segues us into the next question. When you're talking about having an accountability partner, one of those is your mentor. So I've been mentored, have mentored, and we know how effective that can be. And we want to know, do you, Coach Trail, have any success stories that you can share with us?
Uh, I do. Uh, Mentor quite a few folks. I got a couple guys, young men that are in the Air Force now that are flying airplanes. I got a couple of folks here locally. Just work with them. I do some volunteer work with the juvenile detention center here locally. So I was working with an individual. He was from. He just recently moved to San Antonio. Uh, his dad was military. They were from Kentucky. So I'm in Texas. They're from Kentucky. So you can kind of see where this path is headed. The young man, he wasn't the best communicator. Was kind of stuck in his ways a little bit. Parents were a little bit older, so they had an older way of thinking. Here in the San Antonio area, he wasn't necessarily adjusting and getting. He wasn't the most popular kid. So what we had to do was, figure out what the problem was. He was upset, always angry. So we sat down and talked to him, which was resistance then because he didn't really want to talk to me. So he's being mentored by uh, I want I'm kind of young. So I'm 47, so an older, younger black male that he was kind of getting counseled, or I don't want to say counseled, but he was getting coached. And so he was having issues adapting, and so we had to get him to understand. And what I just explained to him, by being in the military, you're around so many different ethnicities, diversities, people from all walks of life, money, religions. It doesn't matter what it is, but everybody came together as a team to get those things accomplished. And so we have to talk to him about working with the rest of his team at the juvenile detention center, and as far as doing daily activities, whether it's cleaning, whether it's education hour, or whatever the case may be, but just getting him to understand how he had to become a team player. Well, he didn't have to become a team player, but it was beneficial for him to become a team player. That way they can get more liberties and different things like that. So just breaking that down and talking to him about his history and where he came from and his future, or his trajectory and where he wanted to go, we had to have the hard conversation. So I can't talk about a lot of stuff because it's confidential, but we had to have the hard conversations. And the hard conversations was one, him talking to me after hearing his parents talk so badly about, blacks or African Americans or whatever. And then, realizing that there's different views out there. And different people. Not everybody shares the same mindset, and then also experiences. So whatever your parents or your grandparents might have went through an experience, that was their version of trauma, and they kind of passed it on inadvertently to you, not you, but the young man, and had to get them to understand that those are their traumas, those are the things they went through. You haven't went through any of those things. Currently, you're making your own path hard by making these decisions, and just followed up with them. Talking about journaling, writing some stuff down. Hey, take notes. If you get upset, like you said, you may need a few seconds. Not everybody understands. Hey, maybe count to 10. Inhale, exhale, take a deep breath, relax. So providing those different methods that he wasn't exposed to, kind of helped him on his journey. It didn't give him a full turnaround, but it gave him planted the seed, so that way it started to nurture and grow as he got more information and more watering. And reaching out to that individual over the course of the last couple of years, uh, well, he went on to a better path, and then he wound up joining the military, and he's doing successful right now. So that's just a quick one. But
So that is an amazing story, and it should encourage a lot of people who may be on a path that's going left right now, but if they want to go right, these are the stories that we talk about. That no matter where you start, is always a bright future ahead of you. So that brings me to my question on. So we know that sometimes people do get lost. We've all been there, all three of us. So we talk about that often. So, what encouraging word can you give for a young person or a person in general that may be feeling lost and may need just maybe looking for a mentor or a coach or somebody to help them stay accountable with their goals? What is that encouraging word that you can give them?
accountability. That would be the first word because you said word. You got to hold yourself accountable. If you don't know what accountability is, Google it, look it up. Use your smartphone. But accountability, you have to hold yourself accountable. If you're blaming someone else, I mean, you think about it, right? Every time they say the first step in a 10, 12-step program is identifying a problem. So, self-evaluate yourself. Figure out what's going on. Then start to look at your surroundings. Look at the people around you. If everybody's doing bad, and you're doing bad, then it's probably not a good thing. But if you're doing good and everybody around you is doing bad, like they say, if you're the smartest person in the room, find a new room to be in. And then if you feel like you may be the smartest person in the room and you just can't figure it out, then you start asking people questions who have figured it out. Hey, how did you get here? How did you get there? Kids used to be inquisitive. Now they barely even talk to you anymore. They put on the hoodie and just keep it moving. But you know what I mean? So you want to teach them to ask those questions. Uh, like back in the day, if you're thinking cars, you're going to find somebody who drives a nice car, and then you're probably going to ask them how they got that car. If somebody has a decent job and your parents may be struggling a little bit, and you're going to probably ask your friends' parents, hey, how did they go about getting this nice house or whatever it is? That, find something that motivates you. That's the other thing, because if you're not motivated to do anything, you're probably not going to get up. You're probably not going to move. You're not going to put your best foot forward, and then it just won't work out for you. So find somebody who's successful. Find somebody, and then I don't want to say successful because everybody has a different definition of it. But find somebody who's effective. You know what I mean? They're moving forward in life. They're not just complacent. They're not sitting, sitting still. Those are the things you want to watch out for, because there's nothing wrong with that, but that's not going to help you, progress and move forward. So,
Okay, thank you. Yes, and that is some good advice to take for everybody here. So, I always say I do have and we'll be talking about that later because we are closing Mentor Month. I do want everyone on here to shout their mentors out, or if you have been a mentor, you could just shout your babies out. You don't have to say their names, but you could shout them out at the end of the show. I always feel like giving somebody their flowers is what's needed, so they do need to be shouted out for that. And so my last question and our last question for you today is, so what's next for you? Like any, do you, and besides that, how can you be reached for people who may need services and need that accountability person?
next for me, just trying to figure out how I can keep giving back. I just got accredited by the Better Business Bureau. So I'm pretty excited about that. So that's,
Yay.
something else to add to the repertoire to, give me a little bit more credibility. Hopefully being on this beautiful podcast will give me some more credibility. I'm just trying to find out how to give back, whether it's online, whether it's in person. Uh, I don't care. I'm just trying to, keep it moving and, help people just transform, become the best version of themselves. As far as for getting in contact with me, they can use the website Limitless Leads Coaching, or it's www.realorlive.org. And on there, that has all my information. They can reach out and get in contact with you there, even set up a free consultation. So, yeah, if you have anybody that need something and it's an issue, of money or whatever the case may be, somebody that needs to talk to somebody, give 'em my information. I'm online. My phone is open 24 hours. So if anybody needs to call, needs to go to talk, to cry on, or whatever the case may be, even your strong friends, because a lot of times the people out there, the strong friends, they're the ones that get overlooked. We always think about people who need help, and you never think about the one person that's always holding it together and not telling anybody. So even that person, you can give them my information if they don't want to talk to you and you don't want to talk to them. And I'll talk to them and then we'll take it from there.
Thank you. And so we will do that. We do have our email address that is open 24 hours a day. It is confidential. I or Cassandra or K Love, we do check the emails often. That is open letters to a survivor at gmail.com. We will get you to over to Coach Trill in the event that you do need that. And maybe some of us may be reaching out as well to just keep us going in that path so we can be the best versions of us to deliver the best versions to our viewers. So we will be reaching out for that. And thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm going to turn it over to my co-host for the evening. And then if you want to stick around, we do have Tim who does our motivational minute. He gives the people encouragement and he takes us to church for a few minutes each week. So before I wrap that up and go over to Tim, I'll turn it over to you ladies just to give your thank yous and if there's anything else you want to add or any questions.
Well, first of all, again, Coach Trail, I enjoyed having you on the show. I really appreciate what you've done and what you're doing and what you're going to continue to do for our people and for the community and for our youth. You're doing a great job. Hands up to you, because I know it's difficult, to do the type of work that you do. And don't worry about the backlash; it's coming. You're gonna get
I appreciate
everyone
that.
that you need. Yes, yes.
I appreciate
So
that.
what we're
One of
gonna
the
do?
things.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just gonna say
No,
one
go
of the
ahead.
things for me is that I definitely had to learn to deal with is not everybody wants your help, right? And I had to learn how to deal with rejection because not everybody
Mhm.
wants to be helped. Some people just want to talk and vent, and I had to learn that the hard way. So I get that as well. So
And we had
Absolutely.
before you go on, I'm sorry. We had a comment for a viewer that laughed and said that I guess you hold them accountable. James, can you put that back up on the screen so we can see it? Oh, he said he definitely holds me accountable. That's from Jennifer Glover for that comment. So I just wanted to share that one. And Matthew also said that, yeah, it's good that you're here because um, very interesting podcast. Those are real things that are going on in the world today. I just wish a lot of these young men and women will listen to what people are trying to tell them and the right people. So you are the right
absolutely,
person. So I'm telling anybody, young or old or whatever, if you need somebody a little bit older to you to keep you, get with Coach Trail. He will guide you in the right direction. So go ahead. I just wanted to read the comments that came through.
No,
Yep.
absolutely. And I just wanted to say on my part again, thank you for joining us this evening on the podcast. As a teacher, I get it, what that looks like, and trying to get into those school systems and things. Like you said, one moment, one day
right,
at a time, one turnaround at a time. But it's all,
Mhm.
it sounds like it's coming together, and that's what matters the most as you are
Mhm.
making, like putting your footprints in the sand, so to speak, right?
Right.
So thank you so much for what you're doing there.
no problem. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And K Love, is there anything else you want to add before I turn it over to Tim?
Well, we could do a spotlight real quick and let's go to therapy. And coach could stick around for that or not.
Right. Okay.
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
All right.
All
All
right. So yeah,
right. So
you can go
so in
ahead.
our spotlight tonight, we have next month, y'all. It's right around the corner, September 16th. 2024, our very own Tim Stevens will be launching his accessory line called Righteous Brothers. Check it out today at Righteous Brothers 216 on Instagram. And look right, feel right, and stay right.
Ah, she loves to say that every week, so I
I
love it.
do. He gonna have you looking good. So Latrell, Coach Latrell, you need to get online, and he has the ties, he has all the hookups for the men. And he gonna have a little stuff for the women too, but he gonna have you looking right.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mhm.
And to get your business on our spotlight section, please email open letters to a survivor at gmail.com. And in the subject line, please put spotlight. And then let's go to therapy. You can't come on our show unless we go a little to the therapy section. And we have check out Miss Belinda Williams. She works for Cleveland Health and Wellness Center, and she is specializing in trauma. So please, 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 if you are in need of her services, email her today at belinda@chawc.org, and she'll get right back with you and schedule you for an appointment. And then we also have our wonderful Dr. Shamara Hutchins with a flexible approach to therapy, serving our people and our trauma, creator of the Melanated Minds Network. Look for the Mindologist on all social media platforms, and that's how you are able to reach her and her team. And to get on Let's Go to Therapy segment, please email us again at openletterstoasurvivor@gmail.com, and in the subject, put Let's Go to Therapy. And we are welcoming all people who have the skills to help our people in the community with therapy in different forms of therapy. We desire for you all to reach out to us so that we can work with you, partner with you, and then also maybe even give us a little dough. And I'm going to turn that over to Cassandra.
The segue, I love it. So, with that being said, we need support as we want to continue supporting our viewers. This is Open Letters to a Survivor, and so that pivot that people are making in their lives as they're learning more about themselves, getting those therapists, mentorship, life coaching resources out to them. So, if you would please make an impact today. Sponsoring Open Letters to a Survivor means supporting our efforts to highlight the importance of mental health in communities for people of color and address the inequities in available resources. Together, we can foster healing and resistance. To become a sponsor, email us at openletterstoasurvivor@gmail.com, and in that subject line, put sponsor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So we're going to turn it over to Tim. Tim, take us to church. And then before you leave, we want you to shout your mentors out for the day.
All right. All right. All right. I'm glad to be on. Glad to see you, Amanda. I mean, the lady poet.
That's fine.
I'm sorry for sharing your government name.
No, you're fine. It's fine.
But I'm blessed to be on here, and I'm thank you, K Love, for continuing to shout out the accessory line that's coming your way next month. I thank you. As she said, you're gonna look right, stay right, feel right, and grow right, and you're gonna continually be right. So tonight, I'm gonna just pretty much echo what you all have said, because we all need mentors in our lives. Like I said last week, we need a Paul and we need a Timothy. We need a mentor, which Paul was a mentor to Timothy, and we need a person like Timothy, someone that we can mentor to. So, so today I just want to continually encourage everyone to find that mentor if you haven't done so already. But one thing that stuck out to me today was in church. Our visiting minister, he used to be a part of our church, but he received a call to be a pastor of another church. He said something like that was key, and I really dug deep. He said we have to guard our hearts, not follow your heart, but guard your heart. Allow the Lord to guard our hearts. Allow the Lord to guard your atmosphere so you can flourish and grow properly as well. And that's what I encourage you all to do. And that's from Proverbs chapter 4 and 23. Guard your hearts. Allow the Lord to guard your hearts. Allow Jesus to lead you down the path that you shall go. And if you're struggling, continually find that person and allow the Lord to bring you to that person to help you along the way. Because I always quote the song, we all need each other to survive. I need you. You need me. We all a part of God's body. We have to stand with each other and agree with each other because we need each other to survive. And sometimes we may disagree, but everyone needs someone to help them along the way. As I love what Coach Trell said that you need to find people that has things that you want or at the place where you want to go to. You have to surround yourselves with like-minded people with positive people that's going places because they can help you go to a better level. But the main thing you got to give it to Jesus and allow Jesus to bring that person within your life as well. And have that great discernment as well because everybody is not for everybody as well. Just have that great discernment and allow the Lord to surround your atmosphere with His peace, love, and His joy, and be encouraged. Encourage yourself. Know that you are somebody. Know that you will make it. Know that you are on this earth for a purpose because we all have a purpose on this earth. We're not on this earth for nothing. Jesus put us on this earth for a purpose and a reason. It's up to us to know that purpose and that calling. So we all have a calling and a gift. But don't be down on yourself. You may be down tonight, but come on, get up. Come on, get up early in the morning. As the psalmist says, weeping may endure for the night, but joy is going to come on in the morning. So dust yourself off, get back up, and know that you will make it. Continually say, I'm going to make it. You may be down right now, but continually put that in your mindset. I'm going to make it. Be with like-minded people, and everything's going to come in your favor. As even me, I have a mentor. Her name is Bridget. And she's my therapist that helps me get to a better state because I'm okay, but I know I can get to an even better state. So I encourage you all to find that mentor, as I did. And it's not even just her; it's my pastor, Pastor Dr. Gregory Walker, and my big brother within the ministry, Reverend Albert Wells III. Those those about three people that really touched my heart in many ways. And my grandfather, he went on to be with the Lord. He really had a great impact in my life, and I always will cherish the great memories that we had with each other as well. And one more mentor, Gregory Roberson, he was a great person in my life before he went on to be with the Lord. So I'm just blessed to have great people in my life to help get me to an even better place. And one key thing is allowing the Lord to allow them to be mentors for me as well. And I'm just grateful and I'm just happy to know that I don't have to do this on my own. And know that you don't have to do this on your own either. So we all need each other to survive. Stay encouraged and know that you will make it, you will prosper, you will succeed, you will be successful. And just know what you're going through is only a test. It's only a test. Have great faith. Walk by faith and not by sight. And know that Jesus will bring you through. And when you get through the test, you'll have a testimony to tell others how you made it through. God bless you and God keep you.
Thank you so much. We always look for your encouraging word because really take us to a place of that motivation that we need. So we appreciate you. Next month we're doing a whole series on grief. We will see you next week, Tim, and we appreciate
Yes.
you. And thank you. Bye for this week, Tim.
Oh, to God be the glory. God bless you. God keep you. Good to
Thank
see you all.
you too. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. Before we end the show, we're going to shout out our mentors, and then the show can just end for the night. Coach Trail, thank you so much for being with us today. If you want to shout your mentors out, if you have any, or your coaches out that may have coached you in your life, you could go ahead and start, and then we'll go K Love, me, and then Cassandra. Then we'll close out for the night. And James, if you want to come in with anybody, you can too. But if not, we'll end with Cassandra.
Okay, I got two mentors from about 15 years ago. One of them just turned 60 this weekend. Michael Hollywood Brown, and then Vernon Boardley. Those are two of my mentors from back in the days. Nice.
Thank you for that. And I do want to let you know that we will run your program in our spotlight section for the next month for you, just so we can help you as well get your following up and get some more people to you. So we will be doing that as well.
All right, appreciate that.
All right. And you could go ahead, K Love.
Well, I'd like to shout out to one of my teachers, Miss Benson. She always kept it 100 with me and kept me on my straight and narrow path. And then I have a multitude of young people who I had an opportunity to be mentors when I worked at Life Skills. And a lot of them, believe it or not, I sent to the Air Force, Coach Latrell. So that's that's my stamp for the work
Awesome.
that I did, and I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of my babies who have went on to the service and done well for themselves.
Okay, well, thank you. So I have a plethora of strong women to support me. So when I'm feeling at my wits' end with life and things are just going on, because we are human too, even though we get on here every week and we teach you guys about healing and surviving, we got to authentically live. So some of us, a lot of us are still learning and going through our healing phases as well. So in those moments of healing, not only do I have my team who I lean on a lot, but I also have like godmothers, old teachers, an old manager I actually wrote a book about named Vicky, who she saved my life in more ways than one. So she was strict on me, and sometimes I need that because I can kind of be like, okay, I ain't gonna do this. But instead of being stubborn, she was like, no, you can't be stubborn. And to my godmothers, who's one's a minister, one was one of my old teachers, I appreciate them because they gave me permission that I didn't know that I needed. And that permission to live and live in my dreams, and the permission to heal through things that I never thought that I would say, were the permission I needed to be sitting in front of everyone today. And to the babies of my mentor program, Finding My Throne Ministries, Inc., I love you and I'm so proud of you, because just like me at one time, you guys were considered at risk and the world has seemed like it gave up on you, but now you're all successful. They range from nurses, range from, still in school, going to get careers, to, they're all moms now. So I just want to reach out and tell you I love you. And I told you that the journey wasn't in vain. So as I tell y'all that, I tell myself that with everything we do, the journey's not in vain. So I do just want to put that out there, that we do appreciate our mentors. And I'll turn the floor over to you, Cassandra.
Ooh, that's a hard follow. But I'm gonna do my best.
Glad I went
All
You could have
right.
went last.
I know, right?
Show
That
off.
was the like I said, I'm gonna give it a go.
Right.
You got it. You got it. Take your time.
All
Take
right.
your time.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Thank you. I appreciate that. First and foremost, to my mom, because I feel like, within families, there's always, or typically, you have that one person who, gets you going, right? And so I definitely have that to say for her, as she has been extremely supportive, particularly in this last year of things happening in my life, definitely in my corner, and why I'm still here. For professionally, there have been so many, but I have to name a few. So I will say to Erica Beale, Celeste Terry, Dewana Days, Carolyn Brunson Williams, Ronald Ivy, all of those people supported who I've become as an educator as I enter my 23rd year in education. And so all of them, and there are countless others, but in terms of the true kind of mentor role, like you said, looking at where you aspire to go and having people who who you can trust, because that's highly important. Who you can trust, because not everybody, unfortunately, is trustworthy with
Right.
your goals, your vision, where you're trying to go. Everyone can't handle it. Some people, they'll try to
Right.
tell you that what you see is too high or too big for where you are now. That's when you know
Mm-hmm.
that's because the vision that's given to you was given to you for a reason. And the other person doesn't have to necessarily see it per se in order to support you. If they don't believe in you and in what you're saying and what you're trying to accomplish, that's not for you. That's just all there is to it.
Right.
And so to have gone through so many different leaders in my life and mentors. Thank you, Michelle. In my life, I definitely had to call them out by name to say thank you because, like you said, Lady Poet, you give your flowers while we're here. You don't have to wait until people have passed on, and now you bring in flowers that they can't see or smell. So, with that, I want to say thank you to my mentors.
Thank you. And we
Okay,
thank all
mic
of our
drop.
mentors. Right. Drop the mic. And to all of
Right.
our mentors, we thank you. Coach Trail, we thank you for coming on. We will be passing your information along. I do have some of my babies who I know need that, so I will be passing your information on to them. To Monty Veronica, I thank you for being a driving force in my life, for everything I do, for just holding my heart close to yours. So thank you so much for everything. I'm glad to be back. We'll see you guys next week. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. We love you. We thank you all for coming on. And to my co-host and James, bye everyone.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
All right.